Hey guys, what's up? Disney Nuts here. As you can see, today we are at Expedition Everest, and I'm going to show you how I shot this. Okay, pretty cool, right? Now, if you look well at the photo, you can tell that there's probably like 4 different trains in there, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm going to show you how I did that. Now, obviously, we took different photos and we put them together, which is what I'm going to show you how to do today. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the camera equipment, followed by the camera settings. Let's go. Now, I'm going to use all 3 lenses for this shot so you guys can get an idea of how the lens is for the scene. Now again, we want something that's pretty wide because we want to be able to capture the train going up as well as the train going down and the one on the right side. Now there's one lens which I think was the best one that I liked for this photo was the fisheye, which is this one, which is the Optica fisheye lens, and this is a 3.5, and as for millimeter it's 6.5, so it's really far back, which I think is awesome for this types of shot. And this is how it looks. The other one is the lens I actually have on, which is the Kina Ultra Wide, which is a 10 to, actually it's a 12 to 28, I think it is, yeah. And that's the one which is, it's pretty wide, but not as wide as the fisheye, but it's great. So, because it captures practically everything. This is how it looks. And finally, it's the regular lens that I have on my camera, basically probably 95% of the time, which is probably the regular, I like to call it regular lens because it's the lens that's basically my all-around lens. And this is the 17 to 55, which is this one, which is the Sigma lens. And this is how the shot looks with this lens. So you can decide from these 3 shots and 3 different lenses that we're using, which is the best one that you would like to capture. Now the only downside of the fisheye is that it's really far back, just for you to know, okay? Okay, so let's talk about camera settings. Pretty straightforward. This is a really easy one, guys. Today we're going to be using shutter priority, which is basically TV on the camera. This is how you set it. Is that we're going to actually lock our shutter speed to 1/1000 of a second. And the reason for that is that we want to be able to freeze the action. Now, by using shutter priority, some of the other settings are going to be adjusted automatically. For example, the f-stop. We're not going to touch that. We're going to let the camera determine. The final settings are shutter priority. You set it to 1/1000 of a second. ISO is set automatic, and f-stop is set to automatic as well. And that will be able to capture the photo. As for medium mode, we're going to leave it as center weighted, and the reason for that is that it's basically daylight, so there's really much difference any of the other modes will do unless we have a backlight. But in this case, since we are shooting something which is pure daylight, we should have no problem. Okay, with that said, let's head over there and I'll show you the location which we're going to park, and we're going to set up our tripod. Let's go. When we talk about locations, as you guys know, there's a shop here, which is the one that you go out through when you exit Expedition Everest. And if you walk towards the observation spot, which is right here, you can get a really good spot. For example, what we're going to do, we're actually going to park right here. And the reason that right here is that we want to be able to capture a couple things. Obviously, with this iPhone, I don't got enough wide angle to show you exactly, but you'll see how the photo looks here. For example, you get the train going up, you're going to get the train going down, and you're going to get, let me turn a little bit to the right, the train doing the turn. And this is exactly the spot that you want right here. Now you need to put your Gorilla Pod and make sure you don't move the camera, because it's key that you do not move the camera. Okay, so we got our camera set up right here, as you can see, and we got it set at 1/1000 of a second, and the ISO is set as idle, and we're going to now wait for 3 different shots. The first one being the one of coming up on the mountain here on the left, and we're going to just wait here patiently, and once we see the train going up, and then I'll hit the button, and then we'll get a second one going down the middle, and then we'll get one down here on the right. And if we're lucky, we can get the one that's going up or here on the left side as well. Okay, so I'm going to wait now, and I'll shoot it. And that should get the photo. Here we go. Okay, so we got that one. Now we got to wait for the one of the train coming down. There it comes. And there's that one. And there is that one. Okay, so we got 2 more shots there, and we're going to wait now for the one that's over here on the left. Let's see if it comes over. Let's wait for it. And there it is. And there's the shot. Okay, so we got our 4 shots, so let's go see how it came out. Now, I'm sure you didn't expect that we weren't going to get on the ride even after we got all the way over here. So we got a fast pass, let's go inside Expedition Everest. In we go. Okay, we got the front row, guys. We just gotta hop on into the next train.
Attention, Expedition Everest team members. Once on board, secure all gear in the cargo bag in front of you. For your safety.
Yeah!
Arms, feet, and legs inside the train.
Yeah! Okay, so let's go ahead and edit these photos here into Photoshop quickly. Now, these are the 4 photos that I took. You can see that this is the one the train's going up, train's going down, train's right here, and then train's all the way over here on the right. So we're going to make sure we select all 4 of them. We're going to right click on it and we go to edit, and we're going to do open as layers in Photoshop. And what this is going to do, it's going to open up Photoshop, and it's going to put every single individual photo, in this case 4 photos, into one file, and it's going to put one on top of the other in the order that we put them. If needed, we can always move them around. So if something is a little weird or something like that, we can always move around. But in this case, it really doesn't matter the order. The process is basically the same for all layers. So let's give it a second for it to load. Okay, so you can now see here we got 4 images and 1 in each individual layer. And if I turn the eye off, which will show the ones that has the eye on, you'll see that these are all the images that we took. And eventually, you guys already know this is whatever is on the top is what's viewed, and whatever's underneath is viewed like different layers. So in this case, if this is selected 100%, you won't see what's underneath it. So I could turn these off and you won't even notice it. But if I turn it off, then it'll just basically go to the next one, all the way to the bottom. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is make sure that the layers, in this case, are all aligned. So I'm going to select them all with the Shift key, go to Edit, and I am going to go to Auto Align Layers, leave this as default, and hit OK. This is just in case if the tripod was moved or touched in any simple way, and this will basically put them all basically one on top of the other and make sure that it's just not out of whack or anything like that. And okay, there we go. Now it did do it correctly, and it did actually put some lines underneath here, which is fine. We'll fix this afterwards, which is how it adjusted the images so it couldn't fill out with these empty spaces. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to the top item here, and we're going to select the mask key, which is down here. And you're going to see it's going to put a little white box. And what the white box means, it's what it is going to not show. Whatever we put in black is what's going to show through the image. So for example, let's go ahead and select the brush key, which is here, and make sure that this is black. And if I'm going to turn off the other layers to it makes it less confusing. So if I turn this one off, you'll see that this is the image that has the coming down train. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select here on this mask, and I'm going to paint in black with the brush right on the spot. Now make sure that this is 100 and this is 100. I didn't set it, but this is what it should be, because that way if it's set to 50, it's going to look like a ghost train or something like that. Okay, so I painted over there, and now I got two trains in one photo. Now what I like to do is to merge them and then do the next step. So I'm going to select the two, hitting the Shift key, right click and hit merge. Now this one photo has the two trains, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the next one. I'm going to select this one, select the merge, I'm going to select the mask, sorry, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to see where the train is. I'm going to turn this off, and I know that the train is here. So I'm going to turn this back on, and now I know that if I paint here in my mask, it should show up the train. And there is the train. Now be careful not to overpaint, because if I overpaint this, obviously the train disappears, because we're showing what's underneath it, and the underneath does not have a train here. So that's where the mask comes into place. If for any reason you do any mistake, just set it to white, and you can paint over it, and basically you do the inverse of the mask, where you basically say, I do not want to show what's underneath it. So I'm going to put this to black again, and it's going to fix this little top right here. Okay, so just as before, we're going to merge these two layers. Right click on the two of them, merge, and now it's one item. I'll select the mask layer one more time. I'm going to see where the train is. Okay, now it's over here. I'm going to select right here, I'm going to click once, and I'll do it with the brush, make sure it's black. And I'm going to paint here, and now I have added in the train to, so now we got 4 trains on the track right here on the viewable screen, which is pretty crazy. Same thing, select the two, merge, bam, there we go, we got one photo. Now you see that these lines here are pretty annoying, so what we just do, we're just going to hit the crop tool right here on the left with the C. And it's going to, crop this a little bit. Doesn't matter how much, as long as it's even. And I'm going to hit that. Bam, there we go. There's our shot. We got 4 trains on there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all nice and still. Looks like they're having a blast. And then once you put this back into Lightroom, you can do the edits that you usually do, any color settings and stuff like that, and post it. Now this you can do also with Thunder Mountain, as well as Mine Train and some other stuff. So have fun with it, guys.
So that's it, guys, here from Animal Kingdom. I got the awesome Expedition Everest behind me. I am sitting in the area here, which is for the Rivers of Light. And just want to say thank you for watching this video, and hopefully these tips and tricks will help you out in your own photography. Now remember, try different things, not only that you see here, because that's what made Disney photography fun. Now if this is the first time watching this channel, my name is Disney Nuts, and I do photography from inside the parks like this, and I'll show you some tricks and other stuff regarding Instagram as well. So if you like what you saw, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified when the next video comes up. Until then, guys, stay awesome.